Hey guys, I'm back with another 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should. I hope you enjoyed the Relic Razor part, talking about some more old school stuff, and the Brockus Helm unboxing. But now we are back with underground stuff, and first up we have Sutek with Triumphant Force of Willpower. Now there is a kind of a catch in while I'm talking about this. I do have copies of this for sale. I have some wholesale copies from Victims of Fate, which is a really cool Polish record label. I only distro stuff that I like. As you can see, you get a nice record. It's on a 180 gram black vinyl. It's just the 2 demo tapes put together, which Analog Ragnarok put out, which is how I kind of encountered this project, because I work with that label a lot too with my own bands. With the vinyl, you get a embroidered pack, a couple badges, stickers, posters, all that good stuff. Getting attacked by stuff. So yeah, I do have copies of this for sale on the Bandcamp, and t-shirts, hence why I'm wearing one. But let's talk about the music. That's what you guys are here for. If you like stuff like Moonblood, Sargeist Horner, sort of Finnish and some French black metal, it's very riff driven. The drums are quite simple. The production's production's probably putting it kindly, but it's very riff oriented. The vocals are sort of a mix. Some are in English, some are in Norwegian. But yeah, it's a cool record. Pure 90s black metal worship. There's no lyrics, no band members listed on Metal Archives. It's anonymous. So yeah, there's not too much I can say about it information wise, but if you like kind of 90s black metal that centers around mainly guitarists, it's not the only thing that's good about it, but there's not much leads. The vocals are just very harsh. Some cool kind of balsery vocals where it's almost sung. Drums are pretty relentless, but yeah, that was the first thing. Next we have a split, so you get 2 bands in this thing, and this is the Metal Deadness split. I've been meaning to get this forever from Nuclear War Now. There is vinyl and tapes available, and it's Second Hell and Skullcrusher, and both of these are pure old school kind of speed thrash stuff. Some almost proto death metal-y bits. But yeah, if you like bands I've talked about, like Witch's Hammer, which is really essential early speed thrash that no one seems to know, and there's no good reason for it. Also unearthed by Nuclear War Now, actually. But yeah, this split rules. Is from, I think, 89 or something, around that point. This is why most people do their research before videos, but you know, not me, not on this channel. But anyway, it's sort of an unearthed gem, I would say. And that artwork is just so cool. It tells you how great this is going to be, and it doesn't disappoint. Next we have a couple bits from Pulverized Records. So first we have Masakre, which is really cool, crusty death metal. So if you like your sweet death with a heavy dose of crust, that kind of sound, it's very abrasive, noisy, grinding. The artwork is amazing as well. It gives you an idea of just how hideous this thing is going to sound. It's a very violent sounding record. It's got those kind of nice mix of, it's a death metal record, but it's got those punky bits which just really work nicely to it. It's called Morbid Extinction. It's an EP, it's pretty short, but in that you get your head kicked in with just pure heaviness. Next we have another one from Pulverized, which is Lunar Blood, which is some kind of pretty interesting blackened death metal. It's got kind of that old school death metal-y sound, but these blackened bits, off the top of my head, the band that I would probably compare them to is like Sodom Misery, who Testimony put out a year or 2 ago. It's got a similar-ish vibe to that, but it's got an interesting sound. I think it's quite unique. I think they're doing their own thing, which is pretty cool, but still sounds old school, so it's always a good thing. Twilight Insurgency by Lunar Blood, out on Pulverized Records. Now we have something from Victims of Fate, which is, so thanks to my friend Nick for sending me this, it is Diabolical Evil, which is sent to me by Vicious Witch very kindly to check out, and I'm really happy they did. This is only their 2nd release, so there was the Chaos Horde one, which I talked about. The 3rd release is going to be a split of Chaos Horde and one of my projects, Razor Forge, which is more kind of traditional heavy metal kind of sound. I'd describe it as almost Disaster meets Manila Road, so make of that what you will. So I'm not going to be reviewing the 3rd release, but I hope to have a long partnership with Vicious Witch reviewing the rest of their stuff. And this Diabolical Evil thing, much like with Chaos Horde, just pure kind of black, speedy thrash, very intense, evil, old school 80s sounding stuff. Could be straight out of the Brazilian underground in the late 80s. It's so good. Yeah, it's very nice quality. I believe this to be a solo project. All instruments and vocals by Infernal Rider, there you go. And clearly a Destruction fan in both photos. But yeah, really good stuff. There's red and black vinyl available for those of you. I've got the black one. But for those of you who like the colourful records too. Anyway, but yeah, if you like stuff like the early German stuff and the Brazilian stuff, you know, think Sodom, Destruction, Sarcophago, Volcano, all that good stuff. There's some traditional heavy metal gallops in there and stuff as well. But yeah, you get the single version of Cursed by Blood and Valley of the Damned. Both really cool songs. Yeah, excellent little 7-inch, very old school. That's what we like on this channel. And now for some more old school thrash that Nick kindly sent me with it. We have Thrash It from, oh fuck, it's just completely gone out of my head. I'm just going to Google this real quick. This is how brilliantly prepared I am. But they're really old school thrash metal from Malaysia. Now, I was going to say it was that part of the world, but I really didn't want to get it wrong. But yeah, these guys just pure old school Teutonic thrash worship. This is put out by Witch's Brew, which is probably one of my favourite record label names. Of course, paying tribute to Manila Roid. But yeah, Thrash It, just pure old school evil thrash. Much like the bands that I think inspired Diabolical Evil. This is a bit less blackened sounding. So Diabolical Evil has some kind of Bathory. I mean, they probably are influenced by blasphemy, but that's not what I meant to say. Some early Bathory and stuff in there too, whereas Thrash It could well be, but it sounds far more just pure thrash metal to me. So yeah, really cool stuff. Artwork tells you what you need to know about this, I think. Now, I realised this video is pretty much all old school stuff, and it doesn't really change there. So if you're looking for the avant-garde and the experimental, this video might not be where you're going to find it. But next we have Parish, a band that I recently, I've been meaning to get this EP for a while. This is the God's Right Hand EP. Me and my girlfriend, we took a recent trip just to London recently. There was a free gig of Amulet, who I've talked about on the channel before. Excellent traditional heavy metal, and Parish, and I finally managed to get their EP off them. Now these guys play very early sounding heavy metal, or proto-doom, I guess you could call it. It sounds very much inspired by Black Sabbath, Candlemass, Saint Vitus, Pentagram, those kind of bands. It's sort of quite epic but very gloomy sounding. They do sound very genuinely old school as well. Yeah, they were really good live. And yeah, the songs are catchy. It's got a very strong 70s feel about it, which suits the band perfectly. They pull it off really well. And yeah, you just get 4 good songs here. Definitely worth checking out. Dying Victims they licensed, I think, the CD version, but Crypt of the Wizard did the LP. So if you're in the UK and you can't get stuff from Dying Victims, I mean, I just bought this from the band in person. Crypt of the Wizard should have vinyl, I would think. He still has some left. But yeah, definitely if you like early heavy metal with a kind of gloomy, occulty vibe, then definitely check out Parish. Next we have a sort of trio of new wave of traditional heavy metal bands, so I'm just going to sort of go through these. First we have Lethal Steel. Now these guys are awesome, Swedish band. Of course, a lot of the really good bands doing that stuff come from Sweden. And this is just such a great little EP. It's under 20 minutes. In the first song, Weekday Revenge, it just instantly kicks you into great stuff. Kind of like the Countrymen Enforcer, sounding a bit like Accept. You know, some of the German power metal coming into the sound. It's just a really fun, energetic EP. I recently booked tickets to go to Sweden and Germany to the Abyss Festival and Keep It True Rising, the second part. So I've been going through the lineups and been like, hey, I don't know Lethal Steel, that sounds like something I'd like. Check them out, inevitably buy the CD. So yeah, that's how I found these guys, and also how I found the last band in this. We'll get to that in a second. Next we have Black Viper, who incidentally I did find via one of the Abyss Festival YouTube videos, and I've been meaning to check this band out because Kato from Deathhammer plays drums on this record, and I'm obviously a huge Deathhammer fan, so yeah, I knew of the name, But yeah, this is really cool. There was some footage of them live and I was like, whoa, this rules. And this is Black Viper with a Hellions of Fire EP. Now the first song after the intro, which is sort of combined as you can see, is it has this just great riff, and it really reminds me of Power Metal by Pantera, which, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of you are going to be like, wow, I love that record, and wow, I hate that record, but it just has that kind of very pinch harmonic, sleazy kind of groove to it. But yeah, nice mix of speed and heavy metal, pure old school worship. This is High Roller Records, and the last one was High Roller Records, so yeah, good job, High Roller. But yeah, Black Viper rules. Really cool atmosphere on this release. It's kind of got these melancholy parts like Witching Hour, which is one of my favourite newer bands. So yeah, definitely check out Black Viper. And last of all, and this time on No Remorse Records, one of the other big titans of releasing old school sounding stuff, and also learned from those festival lineups, is Riot City. Not entirely learned. I listened to this album probably once or twice, maybe a couple months ago, and I really liked it. And you know, sometimes when you listen to something, you like it, and then it just goes out of your head. And I'm so glad, because from the opening couple songs, and especially the third track, In the Dark, I was like, oh shit, I remember listening to this. This was amazing. So I instantly grabbed the CD, and I mean, the artwork reminds me of Judas Priest, which is never going to be a bad thing. And yeah, Riot City is really fun. Again, similar kind of style as Lethal Steel, I would say. Probably a bit more inspired by the German heavy metal, but these guys are from Canada, which is, of course, a sort of slightly lesser known, I guess. It was one of those countries I always think it's a phenomenal bands, but doesn't get the same recognition as like Germany and the Netherlands maybe. It might be because I'm in Europe, but yeah, Riot City absolutely rules. If you like Tiran, who I talked about on here, which are a Swedish band, they're sort of in that kind of vein. Very memorable songs, very easy to pick up the groove of a riff or remember a chorus. It's going to be a great band live, I'm certain of it. And with that, we have 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should. This has been quite a nicely varied one, actually, with some Black Death, traditional heavy metal stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these bands and support them. As I said at the beginning, with the Sutek record, you can buy it from Poland, or if you're in the nearer the UK, I am selling copies. I only have, I think, 8 left now, and a couple of these shirts left. But yeah, I'm just going to plug that because I can. I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, check out the record anyway. Hopefully you like it, and that's not a waste of my promotional efforts. But yeah, and do go and support all the cool bands and labels otherwise. And I'm going to give another shout out to Vicious Witch, because I really appreciate Nick sending me their releases. I'm looking forward to working with them myself, because our vinyl has just arrived. I'll be talking about that more soon, but I'm not going to be putting my own band on this channel, because that feels a little conceited. Perhaps. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll change my mind there. But yeah, really cool up-and-coming label. It's a Greek guy in the UK, and obviously the Greeks don't know heavy metal. No one can argue that. So yeah, keep an eye on them. Check this stuff out, and until next time, stay metal.